I have some news to tell you. News that will rock you to your core and make you question every single thing you've been taught your entire life. I hate to tell you this, but there are people out there who lie on the internet. I know. It's truly shocking and depressing that people would tell porcupines on the internet. I personally was completely shocked because I believe every bit of information I find online, whether in the news or on Twitter or on Reddit. But no. There are people who lie on the internet. Now, after dropping that truth bomb on you, I'm sure your heart rate's increased, you're sweating. Maybe that guy that promised me free RAM for my PC was actually a virus. Or maybe that guy that was messaging me on PlayStation to give me a gift card wouldn't actually give me a hacked Fortnite account. But today I have a truth bomb. So big, in fact, it will make you literally think that you're Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner, staring up into the sky thinking, oh my god, he is literally me. So there's a game that's coming out soon and people are really excited about this one. It's called The Day Before and it's an open world MMO game but with zombies. Now wait. I know you've just let out an audible groan because we're all sick of zombie games. They've been coming out for the last like 15 years and they stopped being good 14 years ago. But the thing is, gameplay's been released of The Day Before and it looks really good, like actually polished. Like, for example, there's this gameplay bit and it's almost like Red Dead 2 detail. You can see like these 4x4s going through this swamp, this bog, and you know, the tires get caught in the mud, they get stuck. There's some really good reflections. It looks like it's got a lot of detail and polish, almost like, you know, Red Dead 2 horse testicles. Now, obviously, you've got searching, looting, combat with zombies. We've seen that before. But the thing is that people liked about this game, it looks like DayZ if the DayZ developers actually cared about the game and they just didn't leave it to, you know, rot and die. Now, unsurprisingly, this game, The Day Before, has been one of the most wishlisted games on Steam, which is essentially you not paying any money. You're just ticking a box saying, I really like this game. It's the fastest way to build up artificial hype ever. But then, as it always happens, the negatives started rolling in. There was some things that were a little bit sussy about this company. Firstly, the company that made the game, Fantastic, that was started by two brothers in Russia. They had a horrible track record of previous games. First of all, they made a game called Wild 8, which was this, like, you know, isometric top-down survival game. It was received pretty well, didn't really get updated that much. The player base died, and then they sold the rights onto the publisher. But they made it out that there was like some kind of internal conflict, when in reality, if you check the player count, the game was absolutely dead, and they realized they needed to cut loose ends. Usually in a situation like that, you have two options. You could, you know, rebuild up the game to gain respect from the community, or you just sell it to the publisher for a fat paycheck. They took the latter option. Force Gaming, by the way, did a really good deep dive into all of this and the history of the company. Very good YouTuber, check him out. But after that, they moved on to another game called Dead Dozen. This was like a first-person game where it was like one team of infected against a team of humans. It was kind of like that Gmod game, The Hidden, if you remember that, except The Hidden was like free and really good. This wasn't. This sucked, and it was actually so bad that they took it off Steam, completely disappeared, delisted, and if you go onto the website's portfolio, they just don't mention this game ever existing, not even marking it up as, we'll do better next. It doesn't exist. You know that photo of like Stalin and the other guy, and then you keep seeing it's just a photo of Stalin because he got disappeared? That's pretty much this game. Now, one of the more recent games they made, which you may have actually heard of this time, is Prop Night. It was essentially Dead by Daylight mixed in with Gmod Prop Hunt, where you could turn into a prop and jump around. You know, you could be like a park bench, really obvious, but you had a lot of health, or you could be like a little can of Pepsi, which would give you no health, but a lot of agility. It was a fun game. I've actually enjoyed it. I played it in my spare time. I even did a video on the channel, probably about a year ago now, playing it with J-Schlatt. The problem is they updated that game. They updated the graphics engine. They made a lot of tweaks and changes that no one liked, and it absolutely decimated the player base, basically putting it into, you know, hundreds of players at this point, when originally it was thousands. Honestly, I will boot up Prop Night, like, you know, every 3 months or so, and you will just always be paired with the same French people that are absolute god sweats. I'm not joking. The Prop Night player base is somehow more sweaty than CSGO Global Elites. I remember playing a Prop Night game with randoms once, and there was a guy disguised as a shoe sat on a ledge that I couldn't get to, and all he would do is snitch on me wherever I was going to. He'd do call-outs like he was sat there with an AWP on Dust 2. But anyway, The Day Before, people realized there was a bit of a, you know, weird track record, and they started to be more critical of the trailers and the gameplay. And then they started to even question if the gameplay was real. Now, in the gameplay, there is a disclaimer at the bottom saying that it is gameplay and it's subject to change. But again, you're saying it is gameplay. I don't know if you've seen these trailers before, especially with EA. They like to cope behind this wall of text saying in-engine footage. In-engine footage basically means you're watching a cutscene. It's not real, because then they can just cope and say, oh, we had to downscale the final game because of Xbox. When in reality, it was never the Xbox's fault, but they just lied. Like, in-engine is basically, it is a cutscene. There's no arguing about it. It's too good to ever be a game. But even though they did say it's gameplay, you've got like 2 game developers here that are watching it, and even they think, this looks way too good to be gameplay.
I'm getting a feeling this has all been rendered. This is not...
I think it's more of a vertical slice on first impression. A vertical slice, if you don't know, is this doesn't mean that the whole game is done and it looks like this. This is probably a section that they popped out, and we're able to develop and carve out and make certain things look final when they're not. That's what happened with Watch Dogs. That's what happened with Cyberpunk for a lot of it.
But then this led to the general public to think, is this game like even real, or are they just showing a bunch of pre-rendered gameplay? For example, the muzzle flash when a character's shooting a gun, it comes in and out too quick, almost like it was just an overlaid image. And then when he's taking shots at the zombies, it looks like the aim is way too good. Like, even for mouse look is obviously going to be way more smoother than a controller, but at the same time, it still looks like it's too robotic, but then it's also too smooth. It doesn't make sense. But then, worst of all, people pointed out that the gas station, which one of the central gameplay points was taking place, was basically lifted from Life is Strange. I mean, I get it. A lot of gas stations in America, they do look similar, but you could see Force Gaming did a comparison here side by side. The architecture is basically the same, and again, you could argue that they're, similar gas stations in America, but the color scheme is also pretty much the same. But this one is a doozy, and the entire reason I made this video. So, because it's the end of January, the devs the day before are fantastic. They promised us a big gameplay demo of the day before, something we could really sink our teeth into, only for them to put out this twit longer. So it's late January now. The devs the day before are fantastic. They basically said, we're going to give you something huge near the end of January, a huge gameplay demo that all of you can, just play and enjoy. Did it happen? What do you think? I'm sat here making this video. And of course, as is tradition, all dreams were shattered by this tweet being put out. Now, the tweet itself is words. I'm not going to read all of it, but you can probably assume that the game's been delayed. If you predicted that, you are such a star, a gold sticker for you. But their reasoning for the delay is moronic. Usually when you see a delay, you'll have like a big paragraph of text from the developers saying we need more time, we need to polish it up. Like, for example, Cyberpunk, they delayed that multiple times, and it was still a piece of shit when it came out. Well, Fantastic didn't say they need to take more time to polish. They said that their game was copyright claimed under a trademark under the same name, and for that reason, it's been delisted off of Steam. They said that a private individual filed a claim on their game, so it's been blocked on the store page, and now they're delaying the game until November 2023. I do want to say, trademark disputes, they can go on for a while, months at a time, but a year? Like the end of the year? Basically a year wait for the game? It seems way too long and also way too precise to know when there's going to be any more content. Now, obviously, people assume that the trademark is just BS. It doesn't even exist. They did link proof, but this just made the rabbit hole go even deeper because this trademark that was ran against them, this was filed in 2021 and then actually secured in 2022 by someone called Sunjay Lee. I don't know if they're affiliated with the company or not. Let's be devil's advocate. Let's be on their side and say, no, it wasn't filed by someone at the company. So they got that trademark in 2022. Why are they announcing a game that they do not actually own the trademark copyright for? 7 months later after the, initial claim, a whole year after this game has been on the store page to wishlist, then the trademark went through. And at no point do they think, oh, wait, shit. No, someone's got our name for the game. I'll be fine. We'll just leave it until last minute. I don't believe for a second that they did not notice that claim and then turned around last second and went, oh, what? Someone claimed the name of our game? What? Someone else used the name Five Nights at Freddy's? What? I find it a little bit sus, among us, if you will, that a company would announce their game before even filing a trademark for it. But now they're adding another layer onto the story because they're coping and saying that even if the trademark dispute, wasn't a thing, they'd still delay the game to November anyway. Almost like that was a plan B if people saw straight through the copyright as a ruse, which everyone saw. I just like how everyone saw through their bullshit and then they just said, well, you know what? As a reward, now no one gets to play the game. This is one of the best things as well. They've got their own Discord, which many game communities do, many YouTubers. And one of the head moderators there has literally said, those who wonder if the game is real, I'm wondering the same right now as well. And then going on to say that nobody saw the gameplay. So even the Discord mods, people that are tied to the game company, kind of, they haven't saw any gameplay. No one has. It's this magical concept. All we've we've got so far is zombies being shot and then some really cool tire tracks. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to lose sleep if zombie game 382 billion does or doesn't come out. I mean, the last zombie game I played was Back 4 Blood. I played Back 4 Blood. I bought, like, you know, the special deluxe edition. That game flopped harder than the show Velma on HBO.